Wow, am I a sleepy boy? Welcome to episode 8. They didn't think we'd make it this far. They didn't think I'd make it into work.
Not a single person.
Not a single person thought I made it into work. But here I am. I'm coming off a live AEW event. We have a lot to discuss. I'm mainly going to talk about that. But we got some other news and some other wrestling I guess we can touch upon.
Of course. Like always.
Should we let Brian play the music?
Brian, play the music.
Go ahead.
1, 2. Is this one? Is this one?
All right, play it again. I know it's one. You have to shut up, because I gotta listen.
He was like calling him by his first name. Dave, please stop me. You're supposed to be my friend.
It's gotta be on here somewhere. 3, 2, 1, Keith Lee. Damn it!
Welcome to the official Mustache Bros Wrestling Podcast. I am John.
I am Dante.
Hello.
And we are the Mustache Bros.
Again, for those watching visually, you know what we just did. What a week. Dante, how are you? Let's kick it off.
John, I'm doing good this morning. You know, I'm very energetic. I got a great night's sleep last night. Got the full 8 hours.
You hit that REM cycle?
I actually, the last few nights I have been hitting the REM cycle. I've been feeling very refreshed when I wake up in the morning.
That's huge.
Definitely could feel a little more refreshed, but refreshed. Mm-hmm. Now you, on the other hand, you mentioned you were a little sleepy, a little exhausted, a little tired boy. Mm-hmm. Is that because you may have went to AEW Dynamite last night?
I went to AEW Dynamite live at the DCU Center in Worcester, Massachusetts last night. It was Fight for the Fallen, I guess is what they were calling it. So shout out. There was two people. There was one person that just recognized me from the Lumberlend stuff. And I said,
Lumberyard.
Yeah, so I go to him. Or no, I don't go to him. Yeah, I went to every single person there.
Hey, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? I'm John from Lumberlend. You know who you recognize me? You recognize me?
And so I was like just waiting around, and like this one dude, are you from Lumberyard? And I was like, close enough. What's up? And then he wasn't like, he like recognized me, but I could tell he didn't know who I was. Yeah. So we're like talking, and he's like, "Oh, I love like the videos," and he's like, "I love your takes," and just saying like generic, like whatever. And he was nice. And then like, I'm like, "Oh, word," and I was like, "You watch the wrestling shit?" Because he like didn't mention any of the He was like, "Hey, to be honest, bro," like. And then he starts telling me the story about like how like he spontaneously went to like WrestleMania 28 in Miami with a friend.
Interesting.
Didn't have anything to do with anything. And then like, and he's like, where? And he goes, my favorite part after he goes, where? Hey, what's your name?
You gotta love our fans.
I was like, John.
You gotta love our fans. John from Lumberyard.
He was like, bro, like I'm not trying to. John from Lumberyard. Like, bro, I'm not trying to like fangirl or nothing, but like it's just I've never met like a person, like.
He got the company name wrong and didn't even know your name.
Yeah,
meeting a celebrity.
Yeah, you seem like you're a big fan. He was funny.
Hey, it's all right. I went to the casino like 2 weeks ago, and someone came up to me and said, "You're on TikTok, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Backyard baseball," and I'm just like, "Nope." I'm like, "Lumberland?" "Yeah, Lumberland." I'm like, "You had no idea, bro. You had no idea."
There was another guy. This is like way quicker. Oh, also like while I was standing around, like that guy who like didn't really recognize me was like waiting in line for a drink. And he looks back and he's like, "Yo, you want anything to drink?" I was like, "Nah, bro, I'm okay."
Probably would have gotten you a free drink.
I know, but it's like a Bud Light was $14.
Was it really? Yeah,
it was like 13 or 14. I didn't want to make this guy who didn't
know
really
your name or didn't know the company you worked for.
It was nice. I did end up getting like a beer later. It would have. I don't know. It wasn't. Didn't seem like the move to accept the drink.
Sure. See, if I was in your shoes, I probably would have said yes.
I probably would have
said yes. That's very respectful of you.
And then another guy. This one was real quick. He was like, "Oh, like John from like Mustache Bros." And he was like, "Oh, I love the videos." I said, "Thank you, bro." That one was very regular. And then when I was walking down to my seat, I like walked down and I walked back up because I thought I was in the wrong section. And this younger kid, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. I forget what your name was, but I remember you wearing like a red hat or like a red brim. Anyway, you were mad cool. And as I'm walking up, he like, "John?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, like I'm a big fan of the Mustache Bros channel, and I watch you guys every day." And and he says to his friend, he like gives his friend his phone. He's like, "Hey, can you take a picture of me and John?" So I like, if you're watching this, send us on Twitter at Raspy Taylor, at Dante Toro 11. No, at Dante on Deck on Twitter.
Send it to one of us.
Send it to Dante.
Send it to me. Send the picture to me. I'll make sure John gets it. Don't worry. Don't send it to John.
Dante's my Twitter
I'm
secretary.
PR. I'm your PR. Public relations.
That was really cool. He was really excited. He was really like, that one like meant a lot.
Yeah,
he was
for
like,
sure.
He was like, I watch you guys every day. I'm a big
that's cool.
fan. Like he was a legit MBW fan.
That's very cool.
So that was just like I'm glad I got to tell that story on the pod.
So
again.
overall experience, was this your first live AEW event?
First live AEW event. My second live taping show. My third live wrestling show.
Okay.
And it was bonk. I'm apologizing. We're gonna talk about Vince.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about stuff.
Get your stories out of the way.
I'm absolutely gonna talk about this. Yeah, it was nuts. So to give you a rundown, I had a nice little date for myself.
Hey.
I went solo dolo.
You gotta treat yourself. There's nothing wrong with that.
And I was okay. Maybe I want to eat first, and then like I was gonna buy like a $29 ticket, like the cheapest one, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I deserve a better seat.
You do
than
deserve
that.
a better seat.
So I bought like a mid-level, not like ground floor, but like one level above ground floor, like ticket for like $75. Fuck it.
It was a great
view
seat.
Was nuts.
It was great.
It was
seat.
really good.
I prefer that than like a floor seat and people are in front of you and so you can't really
bro,
see.
Sat on the aisle, got to stretch out.
Yeah, that's
oh my
lit.
god.
Lit.
I was right by the door. You walk up, get a beer.
In, out,
it was
just
great.
like that.
And then so they did I went out. I got like a couple of beers and some food to before. Walked right over to the show.
Lovely.
I skipped. I guess doors were open at 6. At 7, as this like some inside information if any of you are planning on going to an AEW event. At 7, they filmed Dark and Elevation tapings, and then at 8 is the live like AEW 8 to 10 live Dynamite. 10 to like 11:30 is when they film Rampage.
Damn,
long show. Yeah, I
definitely.
didn't stay for all of Rampage. I was getting late. I was getting sleepy. I had like a 40-minute drive home. But it's funny. It's interesting to watch because they really do like treat it. Obviously, they treat it like a live show, but it's like, you know, Justin Roberts will be in the ring and he's like, "We're going live in 5, 4," and he'll kind of like get the craze, like, "Are you guys ready to show to the world that you guys are the party?" And like, you know, like getting people like energetic or whatever. It's really, really interesting. And it is, because you've gone to live shows too, so I'm sure you can attest. It is interesting, like, how raw it is. And by that, I mean, like, you obviously don't hear the commentary.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just the wrestling. They have, like, the ring a little mic'd up, so when someone gets body slammed, it's a little more
You
just
really
like,
hear it. Yeah, 100%.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's a different vibe. It's different. A lot different than watching it on TV.
And it's like, it's even harder to tell, like what people were saying that the Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson match was phenomenal. Live, it was good, but like live, it was like not as great.
I'll be completely honest with you. I think not having commentary takes a lot away when you're watching it live, because I feel like just having the play-by-play and just like the emotion of the announcers and stuff. Like if someone hits a big move, it's like, oh my god.
Especially like Shivani or what I forget the mask.
Tony. Oh, I know who you're talking. Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Can't believe it. And even Jim Ross was there. Like even just not getting that like classic, like, oh my god, and this is gonna,
I do think that's a big factor when watching. I think that's also why I not prefer, but like I like watching on TV because you're getting the talking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Play-by-play.
Whenever it comes, so the reason I went is because it came to Boston last year.
Yes.
And that ended up being like a huge. I think something I forget what happened. I wish I could remember. Like it was something to do with Moxley or Punk, where like it was a big thing. No, I think Moxley debuted in Boston.
Maybe I'm not.
I could be wrong, but anyway. So I made it a point. I was like, next time it comes, I'm not gonna miss it.
Yeah.
So I kind of like made a little promise to myself, and that's the reason I went. But like I wouldn't travel out of my way other than the once a year it comes to me to see it. You know?
Yeah, no, I get that.
But what I will say, my takeaways from the show, Moxley. It's a fucking superstar. Oh my god, he can't. I was really crossing my fingers he was gonna come down by me.
Yeah.
Didn't, but he kind of like walked over in front of like our section, whatever. He is really a star. What I will say, so he faced Roosh. Roosh was really good. I believe so.
Interesting. I believe you. I had no idea.
And I don't know. My one gripe with like Moxley got beat up that whole match. And then like it wasn't until the end where he got like his like run or whatever. I don't know. Moxley to me is a guy that like beats people up, and he like, you know, he's the champion. I get it's a championship match. Not every match needs to be so like 50-50.
Sure.
Not everyone needs to come out. You know, like I wish Mox beat him up more.
Yeah,
I guess.
okay.
I don't know. And even like seeing run-ins is, I know I'm a little scattered with it, but like seeing run-ins is like a really exciting part. Like Penta and Ray ran in, Andrade ran in, like what else? Some other takeaways. Fucking Ricky Starks.
Yep.
Oh my God. People were booing him, but it was like a I respect your character.
Sure.
So I'm gonna give you the reaction you're looking for.
Right.
But it's basically a cheer.
Gotcha.
And then I think the loudest pop of the night, fucking Hook winning the FTW championship.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll go through all these matches more like in detail. It's just kind of just me covering the live show.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
Fucking Ricky Starks pinned Danhausen, and everyone's like, Danhausen also got a big reaction. Huge reaction. I'm not a big
really
fan.
a big fan of his, but yeah, people like him.
And Ricky Starks, and even just like seeing his charisma live, and just like the way he can kind of work a room and like portray an emotion, or even when he's just on the top rope, just like looking like a star.
Yeah.
Like Ricky Starks has it.
Yeah.
I know we talk about like every week about like Ricky Starks, and like these like we have our ride or dies on this show.
Ricky Starks is one of them.
And Ricky Starks is one of
Absolutely.
them. Seeing it live, and then so he was like, I'm gonna issue an open challenge, basically, like I'm gonna defend it again, and then everyone's on their feet, and the whole place is chanting Hook, Hook,
'Cause, yeah.
Hook, and that fucking Action Bronson song hit,
That's so
and the
cool how he has
place
that too.
went crazy. Sorry,
Yeah.
I spit.
Oh, no,
the
you're
place
good.
went crazy. He comes out, and again, this kid, again,
He's a kid. He's a kid.
we talk about who has it. This kid has it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's got the look. He's got the fans by the balls. It seems like.
And then when he locked in that choke, place went crazy. Ricky Tag.
Yeah.
He wins the title. Probably the biggest pop.
I can imagine.
Like easily of the night.
Everyone
Oh my
loves Hook, man.
Oh
People
my
love him. Send
God.
Hook. And then him winning his first belt and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, it's funny because like he plays the character of just being like the tough kid. And he doesn't care about anything, and he like wins it, and he's just like looking like you could see in the camera that he was like holding back like a smile or something like that, because he's trying to stick to the character, which I really respect. A very cool moment.
And even just like
Taz, because Taz won it. He was like the one that brought in the title to AEW and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, father-son thing. That's a cool moment.
And like it seems we kind of talked about this last week, but like this seems like. So did you get the Ricky Starks promo? Did he talk?
I did not really pay attention to it until the match started. So I didn't hear him talking before.
So
he was like, "This is my time" or something like that. Was he saying something like that?
Yeah. So like I forget what happened, but like Hobbs turned on him.
Yeah.
And
so that was
everything.
after the Hook match.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I forget. Yeah, I could maybe before the Hook match, he was like, "It's my time" or whatever. But anyway, so he loses, and like he was very much like in the promo. I think during that promo, after he lost the belt, he was like, "I'm sick of waiting. It's my time." And he was
okay,
like,
so I think that may have been during commercial, because when the commercial came on, at least, unless I missed it by like a few seconds or something, but when I looked and I started paying attention again, I think the camera cut to him standing there and Hobbs just was attacking him.
Oh,
so
wow.
that promo may have been off. I could be
Yeah,
wrong,
yeah.
and maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I think that's what it was. Because I don't remember.
Yeah.
On Twitter, I saw he said that, but I don't remember seeing it on TV.
Interesting. Well, for what it's worth, whether it was just for the live crowd or not, he gave a very emotional, just like, you know, it's my time. Basically saying like, hopefully this is him like, okay, he's going on to the next step.
And this is what we talked about last week.
That's
this
what
was
I'm
our
saying.
theory.
Yeah,
It's
we
like,
got the
so
whole
we were
thing.
like, he's going to either lose the belt or someone's going to get involved, blah, blah, blah. And then hopefully whatever happens after this sets him up for a singles run.
Hobbs
And
turns, so now he's
obviously,
away from
with Hobbs
the group.
turn, I wonder if he'll like sit out like a few weeks, something like that, just kind of sell the injury, then come back in a few weeks, get a huge pop,
Yeah.
start the singles run.
And the crowd, I think that was the Ricky Starks face turn.
Yeah. I think last week they kind of planted the seeds a little bit, and this week was the full turn.
The crowd was very like on his side. Thank you, Ricky chants, and just.
I'll be honest with you, dude. Especially in AEW, it's so like between a good guy and a bad guy, it's so blurry. Like it's like you can be a little bit of both now. Like even if you're a good guy, and this happens in WWE too, but like as far as like the characters like going off of the crowd, it's like you could be a bad guy and the fans cheer you.
Yeah.
You could be a good guy and the fans boo you. But like in AEW, like I don't know, like Brian Danielson, I don't know if he's a face or a heel.
Right.
Because there was one when he announced his injury and stuff, he got missing time, and he's saying like, I'll be back. He's like, he goes, listen, I still walked through the bad guy side or whatever it was. And then he starts shitting on the crowd. So it's like I don't think there's really that separator anymore. I feel like it's very easy to cheer and boost someone. Like someone can be both a good and bad. Moxley too. I mean, if you think about it, he's really a bad guy, but like he's a good guy because he talks like a good guy and people cheer him. So
what I think just like the fans have changed so much, where now it's like it's less of like I like the good guy, I like the bad guy.
It's just who you like and who you don't.
Now I think it's just more of like I respect this performer and I respect their heel work. I respect this guy's heel work. I respect this guy's face work. So I like them both the same.
Like MJF, he is obviously a heel, but like when he has like the promos and he's like the one-liners are like just he goes at someone, I love. I think it's awesome.
It's great.
It's like I like it.
It's a lot different than before. Let's say like a JBL or whatever.
Yeah.
JBL was never getting cheered for being a good heel.
100%,
he was always getting booed. But like
100%.
now, MJF, arguably one of the best heels of all time, is getting cheered for being a great bad guy.
Yeah.
And people, I think, again, people respect
appreciate it.
That's what it is.
1000%.
It's just a different level of appreciation that like wrestling fans have now.
I prefer that more than the whole picking
Yeah,
of the
honestly.
other. Why you can like everyone. It doesn't because the bad guy doesn't mean you can't cheer him.
Quick.
All right.
Couple quick. The only other thing I had. Again, Danielson. Danielson felt like a really big star. Really cool to see him back. I will say, at some points, the crowd was pretty dull.
Yeah.
Just throughout the whole night. Sometimes we like got tired. Granted, I was a sleepy boy. I was tired.
Listen, it's a long. You have to keep that in mind too. Like there are a lot, especially like pay-per-views and stuff like that. I feel like wrestling shows, like a biggest thing is strategy and like placing out the matches for energy levels. So like for example, like
the Thunder Rosa match.
I bet
silent.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There's a little bit of like
I didn't even know who the hell she was wrestling.
That's my Yeah, well, we can get into it too, but like that, like. Who was I don't know who that was. Maybe that's just me us not knowing who it is. Maybe she's from a different company, but like she wasn't like an AEW built up contender.
Who is the all right, so I think I'm getting it right. John Moxley had a match last week against someone that was like just released from WWE, like NXT. So there was a guy that was in I know you don't follow NXT as much, but they have this storyline that Tony D'Angelo or something. It's like the guy's and it's an Italian gimmick. He's like a mob boss or something like that.
Okay.
And he has like his 2 or 3 guys by his sides, whatever you want, his gangsters, I guess you can say. One of them got released, and he came out and challenged. I think it was Moxley. I want to say it was Moxley.
Are you thinking of Mox versus Takashita?
No, it was something Carter. I think maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
It was
that's what it was. No. I'm literally all right. So it was Ricky Starks,
not Cole Carter.
Not I knew it was a belt. I knew it was a title match. So that guy Cole Carter, he was one of the guys that got released. No one knew who he was.
Yeah.
So one thing I saw online when everyone was just like I don't know. It's like you just bring
and it was
in,
a title match.
Yeah,
too, so
it's like you just bring in random dudes without like telling us who it is. Like no one knew it was.
There was
guy
no
from NXT.
story. There was no story for that Thunder Rosa match. There was no like if it was like a Tony Storm. Or
I think it's cool that like all these like people that don't get matches get attention and stuff. But it's like it's different when you actually don't know like anything. Like if it was like a Dante Martin or like a low key someone in AEW that fine. But like if you're gonna bring someone else in, either build them up first or at least tell us, give us some backstory.
Even like Moxley and Roosh, where it's like, Roosh has been on TV with Andrade for a few weeks now, but like ultimately,
why is he getting an AEW title match?
Why is he getting a title match? Yeah, that's the thing. Why does he have a title? I mean, like I get maybe there's no way he's in because they do the ranking system. There's no way Roosh was number 1 in the ranking system. Like I don't
and we've talked about that before. It's just like like when it comes to title matches, when you know who's gonna win. It's
That
like
was
I
part of
love
it, too.
Moxley, like
Yeah.
I do, and like no matter what, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch it, and he got my attention. But it's like there was no Rush wasn't gonna win.
Yeah,
the
I
AEW
definitely
belt,
like.
you know what I mean?
We knew Moxley was going to win. We knew Thunder Rosa was going to win. So like, even part of it is like, and you can say this for the whole night. It's like you suspend your disbelief for a little bit. So like, even when like Rush gets like the close 3 count, you kind of just give in to playing the character of the crowd and go, whoa, that was close.
Yeah.
Even though like really like there's no way.
Yeah, no, you're having fun with it.
Exactly.
You're having fun with that's what's most important. Having fun with it.
But okay,
All right.
I'll stop talking for now about how much fun I had at AEW Dynamite. I will say for my last bit about it until we get back to Dynamite. So I'll be talking from that perspective. If you have the opportunity to go to a Dynamite show or a WWE show, regardless, take the opportunity. Really go. It's really, really fun. Really cool. There's a guy behind me who was really cool. We were talking for a little bit. Yeah, take the opportunity to go. It was really, really fun.
Cool.
I highly recommend it. But not as big of news as me going to an AEW live show. The second biggest piece of wrestling news besides me going to a live show.
Yes, because that is the biggest piece of news. So
Vincent.
no, it's just weird. It's just crazy how like all these things come out.
Oh,
post
yeah.
podcast. Like we film these on Thursdays, they come out on Fridays. But it's like whenever what is it? It's 9. It's a little after 9 right now. We record this podcast for an hour, and then we do the after party and stuff. And it's like time goes on. We're doing work. We're eating lunch. Fucking biggest news in wrestling. Every single week, something big happens.
Every week.
But this week, we literally, arguably the biggest WWE news. I'm not even kidding. In our lifetime, maybe
easy.
Vince McMahon retires,
And we missed it.
like.
It's literally an MBW podcast.
It
curse.
just blows my mind how like we just miss out because then we talk about it a week later, and obviously
Yeah.
like people know about it and stuff. So we're still gonna give you our thoughts and opinions and stuff. So let's get into that. So over the last month since all this Vince McMahon stuff's been coming out, I've been keeping my parents updated with it because
Same,
they know
me
I'm a big
too, me
wrestling
too.
fan and stuff, especially my stepdad and stuff. So we were talking about it, and I remember when the first thing came out, and I was just like, man, I don't think he's making it out of this. I was like, I literally think he's gonna retire or step down as CEO, and like it's gonna like everything's gonna change. And then I would always say to him like when that happens, like it's actually like it's a lot bigger than you think because he got passed on from his dad, but like he made professional. Let's say professional wrestling, sports entertainment. He made that himself.
I mean, he's the reason for some of the biggest pop culture. He's the reason for The Rock. He's the reason for Stone Cold. He's the reason for John Cena.
Came up with all this stuff. He transcended what professional wrestling was in our lifetime. He's been around. He's been a popular figure since the day we were born. I think the day I was born, he may have been WWE champion for all I know. Like this guy has been around in the spotlight for so long, and he's gotten out of so much. The steroid trial, the whole Chris Benoit tragedy, that almost closed down the company because of how serious it was. And it's like we've seen this guy go through the ringer. We've seen him get dragged, but he always comes back around. He's a crazy fucking evil genius.
So here's real quick, I just want to say, here's the disclaimer. We're all obviously on the same page, but just so it's on the record. Obviously, we don't condone his actions or anything we do.
1000%.
As we're gonna talk about Vince McMahon, as we're talking about him, and there's gonna be some praise. It's strictly just what he's done with WWE.
Yes,
like there is some things you
thank you.
can't deny of him being like, he created what we see today, and the reason we have a channel, and the reason there's so much other stuff that whatever.
Thank you for putting that
course.
disclaimer out
So-
there. I'm not a Vince McMahon supporter as far as what he's done in his personal life. I'm just saying for what he's done to wrestling.
We're strictly talking just the professional Vince McMahon, his wrestling history. Again, want to make it clear.
Yeah,
we do not
absolutely.
condone Vince McMahon.
Shitty person.
Period.
He's done some shitty things.
We're
in
all on
his
the same
lifetime.
page, but I just think it's definitely important to note. But to go back to what you were saying, I mean, when it first got announced, it kind of hit. I was like, Vince McMahon retired. But then you kind of sit there and think, and you're like, the guy responsible for the past 30, 40, 50 years of wrestling. Our childhood.
Was
and that's
literally based off of what he created and
crazy.
the storylines he put together and everything. Like that's all because of him. So it's just it's nuts.
It's really, really
I
crazy.
never. It's one of those things where it's like you didn't think the day was gonna come because everyone thought this guy was gonna die as chairman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Like he's gonna die.
Granted, I think if the allegations and if his life wasn't going down the shitter, he probably would have died in the office.
No, 100%. If this stuff never came out, he's running WWE until he's in the grave.
Yeah, 100%. Which, staying in the family, obviously, Stephanie and Nick Khan are the new co-CEOs, and Triple H is the new head of creative.
That's what we've been looking for,
Huge.
baby. No, I didn't think.
Huge.
So a few years ago, everyone kind of assumed he was going to take he was going to be the one to take over, and then there was a rift. Something happened. He got his responsibilities taken away from NXT. Everyone's just like, oh.
Well, he had like the heart problems.
Then he had the heart condition and stuff, so he had to
yeah.
step away. And then they were just like, maybe he's not next in line. But like Bruce Pritchard is there, Kevin Dunn, all those guys. So it's like Vince McMahon's just going to give it to one of his yes men. He's not going to give it to Triple H.
Laurinaitis is out, right?
Laurinaitis not confirmed, but probably. I mean. Yeah, that guy's done a lot of stuff too. But Triple H being a head of creative, I am so happy about this. Dude.
Yeah.
Because we already saw changes on Monday Night Raw. There was a report that said there were a few tweaks made, positive tweaks. He had a meeting with the talent. They're so happy that he's in charge.
Imagine.
It's a breath of fresh air, a new energy in the. Obviously, I'm not backstage. I don't have like connections or anything. But from what I'm hearing is that. Since Triple H is in charge now, like wrestlers are more like, open to like talking to him about, getting ideas across. Former wrestlers that were once, released or let go might want to come back now. Some AEW people are more
I have a
interested.
note. I want to talk we'll keep talking about Triple H being a new creative, but there is a very big point to bring up about that I want to circle back to.
Okay.
But I want to keep going with this Triple H thing. It makes me excited to watch SummerSlam.
It does.
Absolutely.
Does.
I mean, SummerSlam has a fine card, but like ultimately, like I wasn't going to cancel plans to watch SummerSlam. I'd watch it.
Same matches.
Yeah,
we've seen a few
I'll watch
times.
it. I'll watch it on Sunday, or kind of pick up and watch the big matches. Now that Triple H is in charge, and he's already sounds like he's taken over the Roman Reigns. No pun intended. I don't know. It'll be curious to see how much he changes. Maybe he just kind of rides out SummerSlam and starts fresh after. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? I think the biggest telltale sign will be what happens with the Money in the Bank briefcase in theory, what happens with the main event.
Right.
I think that's going to be the biggest tell of like, okay, Triple H is really in control now.
Yeah.
They're doing what he wants.
I think the first thing we've seen from Triple H already, I don't know if there will be big major changes at SummerSlam. Only because SummerSlam and WrestleMania are the two like biggest pay-per-views, and it's kind of like this is like it's not going to be a reset button, but usually night after SummerSlam, like we'll see new feuds, we'll see new this and that. So maybe they're just going to ride out like what they have, like end that stuff, and then build up something fresh. But we're already seeing changes because Rollins Riddle got postponed. It got moved.
Yeah.
It's going to happen at Clash at the Castle, I guess, next month. So that's what they're saying. They say he got hurt, but that's not what happened. You mentioned yesterday that they do have a real life beef. Going back years, they do not like each other. That could be a reason for it. If they canceled it completely, I would be 100% sold that that's why. But the reason why I don't know about if that's a reason, one, because this match has been in the works for like a while now, so it's not. If it was going to get canceled, it would have happened. I don't even think it would have been planned in the first place. And two, Seth Rollins he seems like very professional. He seems like even if you don't like the guy in real life, like he'll put on a good match.
It doesn't seem like he'd pout and be like, "Oh, I'm not going to face him."
Right. And another reason why I think this is fine, it's like just storyline basis, because Seth tweeted out yesterday or 2 days ago, was like, listen, this is out of my control. I would have loved to be there. The fans singing my song. You'll hear it one day. Triple H tweets that and goes, "I hear you."
Whoa.
So Seth is still gonna have a match at SummerSlam. I think it's gonna be another mystery thing. Like show up at SummerSlam, mystery opponent. So I threw in the doc a few names that I saw on the internet that could possibly come back and challenge Seth Rollins. The first one that we're looking at, I think, is the most likely. Because
so the two names you got here, Johnny Gargano, Bray Wyatt. Now, because you kind of were alluding to this, Johnny Gargano seemed all but on his way out.
Yes.
And again, I want to talk about the AEW thing in a little bit, but Gargano not signed with AEW.
Nope.
So it could be a thing where he's right there. He's right at the AEW door, and then
Triple H steps up.
Triple H is in charge.
Comes right back home. There was a podcast or an interview he said last week, and he was saying, like, you know, they were asking about his future and stuff. He goes, you know, like, I have unfinished business in WWE. I want to wrestle at WrestleMania. I want to win, like, you know, someone my size. Like, I grew up watching, like, the Bret Harts, like, all these guys winning the IC title, like Shawn Michaels. He goes, I want to have an IC title run. So it seems like he's still very much like choose, like, you know, obviously AEW, you're gonna get a better opportunity, better matches, dream matches, but now that Triple H is back, he can still do that. I mean, if Triple H is in charge and Gargano is a Triple H guy from NXT, I mean, him versus Seth Rollins, that's a fucking banger.
I saw
that's a banger.
You know the Key and Peele like sketch meme or whatever, where like
yeah, I know he goes and daps everyone.
It's like the
up.
Obama thing.
Yes.
He daps up.
Yes.
And then so it was like they put the names over, and he like would dap up Rollins, and then he'd like walk by the Bloodline,
yes,
and then he'd dap up whatever, walk by Randy Orton.
That was hilarious. Yeah, dude. So they haven't announced it yet, but I think it's gonna be Rollins versus someone random, and I think that could be the first like splash Triple H makes, bringing back someone that like maybe wasn't gonna come back if Vince was around, and you know that kind of just sets the tone. Like you have Seth Gargano go at it for like 20-30 minutes, pure wrestling match.
Yeah,
you don't see that a lot in WWE main roster nowadays. I think that's the first sign.
Another thing too, this is kind of just because it popped in my head. There's no way we're seeing Ciampa stay with Logan Paul in the Miz.
And that's exactly what I was like. Shit like that, dude.
Yeah.
Like I think that's all gonna get brushed under the rug. Like all these like silly storylines that just either it's hard to follow along with, or guys are just there because they have nothing to do. Triple H will find something for Ciampa to do, because that's his guy right there. Like all these other, like Finn Balor, I think will get treated better. Ciampa, Kevin Owens, like all these old NXT guys. Asuka, I think she'll come back to being a killer and stuff like that. So I'm very intrigued. I'm very optimistic about.
And if it actually does, because like I guess it was kind of after we recorded the podcast, but I think it's more of a rumor. Nothing is confirmed about them moving to TV 14. Right. But with the combination of them moving to TV 14 and Triple H taking control, we have a whole new like show.
Dude,
ahead.
this literally could be a new era of WWE.
Yeah,
genuinely, the Triple H era, and I'm very like I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
But I am I'm more optimistic than I am cautious, because what Triple H we've seen, it's not like we don't know what Triple H has, like what he's capable of. When he was in charge of NXT, the Black and Gold NXT, that was by far
it was their best product, 100%.
Product they had. Like Gargano, Ciampa, Joe,
Cole,
Balor, the whole Undisputed era, even Kerry and Cross, like that Velveteen Dream, even when he was there, like Triple
Nakamura,
H,
Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens,
like the list goes on. Triple H knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
So it's like we know what he's capable of doing, and the like I said, the wrestlers love him, the roster loves him. I think we're gonna see a whole new WWE going forward.
So speaking of new WWE, the thing I wanted to mention was Tony Khan.
Yes,
made a statement about this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking
about.
So,
there was a few this is what I was going to talk about. Like, he did tweet something that was really funny. He was like,
I'm the longest.
I am now the longest
CEO or something like that. Yeah.
Tony's a madman. But
yeah, he is.
The specific thing was an interviewer asked him basically, now that Triple H is in charge, this isn't the exact quote, but now Triple H is in charge, do you see some of your like AEW guys like an Adam Cole or like, you know, whatever, jumping back because daddy's home? You know? Yeah. And Tony Khan, his response was, it was something along the lines of like, if you really think that these guys that I've signed for 5 years are just gonna turn their backs and flip a switch and leave just because, you know, someone new is at a different company, then you're crazy. Basically saying, and I think he stated he specifically said Adam Cole.
Yeah,
he might have said Samoa Joe. I forget what the other name was.
Someone else that he mentioned, because he said Cole's under contract till 2027. I remember because I know this conversation. He mentioned someone else because he basically said like they're here for another like 4 or 5 years. Like they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I forget who the other person was.
I forget who it was. Like even like the general tone was like basically, these guys are mine now. these black and gold NXT stars that I have now are not going to leave for Triple H. I promise you.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
well, listen, I mean, when you're under contract, you can't. So I get that.
Yeah, but like even just more of the sentiment. One, I mean, I don't know. There's two ways to take it. One, a little defensive of Tony.
I like Tony Khan, but he is very like
He sometimes
I feel like
talks when he doesn't need to.
He says that, like the whole longest reigning CEO chairman
That
thing.
was that was in
You
poor
don't gotta
taste.
say that.
Yeah.
You don't gotta say something like that. I feel like he just tries to get like cheap jabs in there or something like that.
Yeah.
When it's just like he makes himself look more. I don't want to say pathetic, but like it just makes him look.
It's not as
childish.
credible.
It
Yeah,
looks childish. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess that's the general question. Do you think that anyone from because like this whole thing for the past 3 years has been, WWE sucks. People are going to leave to AEW. Now, do you see any sort of shift of either old WWE guys going back because like, oh, now home is better, so I'm going back home.
Right.
Or even just some AEW guys shifting because now it's not necessarily anymore everyone's leaving the WWE boat. Now Triple H is going to build this back up, and now it's a little bit maybe more even playing field in terms of work environment for these guys.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you see any of that stuff happening?
So let me tell you. So
I could see Cole going.
Why did WWE guys go from WWE to AEW? Because they didn't like their boss. They didn't like the way they were treated, so they go somewhere better. I'm not saying Tony Khan is like this at all, because it's still fresh and stuff. A few years from now, maybe some of these guys are sick of dealing with
Who knows?
Khan.
Who knows
I don't
what could
know.
happen?
Like, who knows what kind of, I mean, there are guys. I think Joey Janela something. He was a former, I forget what his last name was. He was in AEW.
Yeah, Janela.
He left because he didn't like the way him and Tony Khan didn't have a great relationship. Obviously, he's not like a John Moxley or anything, but, that could happen. So, yes, I do believe when contracts are up, because you can't just ditch your contract and go over. So, like Adam Cole, not until 2027, so it's not really something to, really think about now. But, when contracts are up and stuff, as human beings, you have to, look at both options. You have to feel out, what's best for your life, what's best for your family, this and that. And let me tell you something, especially in WWE, money talks. They offer they offer people a lot of money, and I'm sure AEW does as well. Tony Khan has, who
knows in 5 years, maybe they'll be able to offer more money than they can now.
Who like the thing is, in 5 years, like I'm not saying this is going to happen. In 5 years, AEW might not even be around. And I do think it will be, but I'm just saying, like, in 5 years, who knows what? I could be fucking president in 5 years, and that's not possible.
No, I can
35.
guarantee, no.
But, like, you know what I mean? But
in 5 years, AEW is going to either be, like, huge and unbelievably dumb successful, or, like you said, it's just going to run its course.
Yeah, it's just be floating there. Because that's what happened with WCW. It took the world by storm.
Even TNA.
It was beating Raw in ratings and stuff, and the next thing you know, WWE buys them out. Because WCW, the last few months, had shit storylines. They literally had Hulk Hogan do that to Jeff Jarrett, and he collapses on the ground. So it's like, anything could happen. So just for the
Even
same
like
reason,
looking 2 years ahead, it's going to be a whole
MJF is going to be a free agent in 2 years, and I guarantee you MJF probably wants to go to WWE more now with Triple H ahead than Vince McMahon, and he was pretty excited about wanting to go to WWE with Vince in charge.
See, I think that's all a storyline. I don't believe any of that.
I do think there is some truth. We talked about this.
It's hard it's really hard to tell.
There definitely is, I think, some truth to it, but just guys that our contracts are up more in the future, like that's definitely something they're going to look into. And again, same reason why guys left WWE, same reason they could leave AEW.
And a lot of it, I've heard, like, especially nowadays, there's not like, for most people, like I'm sure for some people with like maybe like a Roman Reigns or a Seth Rollins versus like a John Moxley and like a, I don't know, like a Jungle Boy or whatever, there is that sense of loyalty to your brand or to your
100%.
company. Most people aren't like that though. Most people, this is all just what I'm hearing.
Trying to do well
that's their
themselves.
job. That's their paycheck. They don't really have any sense of loyalty. They're all friends, whether in WWE or AEW or whatever. It doesn't really matter where you are anymore. But with someone like, I mean, Adam, we keep bringing up Adam Cole, saying that's the best example because he was
a big Triple H guy.
He's the most notable Triple H guy.
If Triple H was head of creative at the time his contract was up, I think I would say he stays in WWE.
I think so too.
Because they wanted him to be a fucking manager. They wanted him to cut his hair. And I don't know if you've heard of this. So Adam Cole, they wanted him to take away the Cole. They wanted him to be called Adam something else because Michael Cole there's already one Cole. They didn't want two of them.
Yeah.
That's how fucking stupid Vince McMahon was. He wants to cut his hair, his iconic long, literally why it makes him recognizable.
Yeah.
Change his name, be a manager. Can you tell me why you think you want to go to AEW?
Just whoever.
No, I think it was like I think it actually was Keith Lee. I think that was the rumor because they came up around the same or gonna come up around the same time. Yeah, so that's the reason why I went to AEW.
Yeah.
Don't blame him. But if Triple H was around, he wasn't going to be a manager. He wasn't going to cut his hair. Nothing.
Even like a Malachi Black or like
exactly. NXT guys, all those guys, Samoa Joe, even some of them Karrion Kross.
I could see. Basically, the point I'm getting at is like, I understand there's not a whole lot of like loyalty anymore in the general public, but in terms of like an Adam Cole's relationship with like a Triple H, or even like I'm sure there's like I'm sure there's dozens of Triple H and example A, example B of like. Especially let's say a year goes by with Triple H, in control, and Triple H, we're either going to see Triple H turn things around, or nothing's going to change. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing, and it's it is obviously way too early to speculate that. But let's say in a year he turns it into fucking gold, and WWE is back on top or whatever. Then I could see like his guys being like, let me jump back over.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Time will tell. That's just one of those things. Time will tell. So
let's move on. What is this Mr. Kennedy story?
Yeah, so this was just an interesting little thing. I'll do a quick explanation. So he was on a podcast and he was talking about when he was like Money in the Bank champ and stuff like that.
He's pretty like anti-WWE, right? Like
so in this podcast or maybe another one, he said he'd be open to a return and stuff, but like not. He hasn't. He actually has only wrestled 3 times since 2019. So he hasn't really. He does like he has his own like school and stuff, wrestling academy and stuff. So he's like a teacher now and stuff. But so he was on this podcast and they were talking about the time he won Money in the Bank, and he said what originally was supposed to happen. So Undertaker had an injury going into his match against Batista, steel cage match. The result of that match, both their feet hit the ground at the same time. Mark Henry came out, attacked Undertaker, Edge cashed in. That was supposed to be Mr. Kennedy. That was supposed to do what Edge did. Because Undertaker was supposed to be on the shelf. Batista, they want him to be the guy chasing the belt, not get it right away. So Mr. Kennedy, they're like, all right, this is your time. So they tell him, I believe, on the Saturday. So this was at the time when they filmed SmackDown on Tuesdays and they put it out on Fridays.
Oh yeah,
so this was pre-taped.
Yep.
So the Saturday they said to him, "Listen, Undertaker's hurt. This is what's going to happen on Tuesday. Match, cash in. Well, we have a new champ." Next night at a house show, tears his tricep. Mr. Kennedy tears his tricep. Can't cash in. All right, change of plans. We're giving it to Edge.
Right.
He's the new Money in the Bank because since Undertaker, it's not like this is something they could wait for because if Undertaker's out for a while and he's the world champ, you got to do a title change quick and it's like whatever. So next night on Raw, loses to Edge, whatever. And it was stupid too. It was like, why did you put your briefcase on the line? He goes, well, Edge called me a chicken. So I guess that kind of forced me. He goes, you're a chicken for not putting your briefcase on the line. All right. If I'm a chicken, I'll do it. And then that's what started the match. Loses, goes to the doctors the next day. Turns out tricep wasn't torn.
No,
definitely could have gone.
Was that a WWE doctor that first?
So they said listen, you're going to the doctor tomorrow on the Monday. Like you're going to the doctor tomorrow. You're giving up your briefcase tonight. They didn't really.
They just jumped the gun.
And he said, he goes, you don't know how bad. It was like a phone call. He goes, you don't know how bad I wanted to say. Like let's just wait.
Yeah.
He goes, let's just give it time. Like I just won this briefcase. I have it for a year. Let's just do it. And he's like, I didn't say anything. I just said
that's
okay.
That's crazy.
Goes to the doctor the next day. Didn't tear his tricep. The doctor's like, not like he was hurt, but like,
especially at that time, like he was like a young new guy. So like, what?
And he was hot, like he was a hot heel and stuff.
Like what sway did he really have to like?
So I get there was no leverage. It's not even if he said like, hey, let's wait. I'm sure they would have been like, we're still going with it. But I just thought it was pretty interesting because Mr. Kennedy was a great character. He was. I liked him. Mike thing,
so
like
sick.
Kennedy.
I thought he was great.
I thought it was cool, and it's unfortunate because he never really got like that big moment in WWE, and he got fired because he injured Randy Orton. Yeah, I don't know if you know that story, but he injured Orton. Orton flipped out on him backstage. Vince was like, "Well, if Randy's saying you're a piece of shit, blah blah blah, then you're a piece of shit," and kicked him out. So.
I think, and then he did like a small TNA run. I think
he was he was Mr. Anderson in TNA. He won the world title twice.
Oh, so I guess more than a small run.
No, huh? he actually like if you think of like where he was most successful, like what he's most well known for, obviously the name Mr. Kennedy, WWE, but as far as like in ring work and like all that,
for sure,
definitely TNA, by far TNA.
Wow.
So yeah, I just thought that was a cool little story. It was just something that's just feel bad for the guys that have to like run into shit like that. You know,
Yeah.
add something that's out of your control. So
Yeah. You know what?
All right, so we got a lot. We have a few
So-
things here. We've been talking a little bit. So I think pick a few things here and there, and
So, actually, what I was going to say, I think this might be an unorthodox episode.
I'm fine. Hey, I don't think we've had an unorthodox episode yet.
We're at 44 minutes.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Time flies, brother.
I think we jump into Match of the Week, Wrestler of the Week.
Fine.
And
All right.
then that's the show.
I'm down for that.
I don't
I'm
think,
down.
yeah. Especially this week, there's a lot to cover with my live show, the Vince stuff. Yeah. Do you
Down.
have a Match of the Week or a Wrestler of the Week in mind? If you don't, I have.
You go
okay.
first. Do you mind if I
Go
just do
ahead.
a quick
Go ahead.
little
You can take
scroll
it. Yeah.
through?
I mean, granted, what happened on Raw? Let me see what happened on Raw. I don't think anything on Raw.
You had the Bloodline match, the triple threat, Rey Mysterio, Alexa Bliss beat Doudrop.
I'm gonna be pretty biased to the live show just because I'm coming off that. That was last night. I'm gonna be pretty biased to the event I went to. My match of there wasn't really any. You know what? I'm gonna say Bryan Danielson versus Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia ended up getting the win.
Shock win.
Fucking
Shock win.
And like the Jake Hager, like he grabbed his foot, or whatever. Like that's it. There wasn't like any crazy interruption.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like it wasn't a clean win, but
It was a
like,
good match, too.
Daniel Garcia tapped him. It
Dude,
was a
I'm
really good
telling you,
match.
I like Daniel Garcia.
I thought
bro.
I always get his name fucked up. I thought Danielson was. It seemed like he might have been like for real injured, or at least there was something. He got cut open. Him and Moxley both got cut open.
We talked about the whole blood thing,
fast.
bro. It's
They
just
got
like
cut open.
They go to the well way
Yeah.
too much with this.
But it seemed like Danielson might have. But I don't know. They're
maybe
being
maybe he's
cautious.
still not 100%.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was just them. I don't know. There was too many personnel around him for
Sure,
it to be like,
sure.
oh, this is whatever. And Daniel Garcia was trying to distracting the crowd or whatever. But anyway, hopefully Danielson isn't injured.
Right.
He did lose the match. Hopefully that wasn't a thing of like, oh, you're injured
End the
again. You have to
match.
lose.
Yeah.
Because they still kind of went for some time. It was a really good match. The crowd was pretty hot for it. Daniel Garcia is really good. I mean, the kid is just a young Randy Orton.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he has the look. Kind of looks like him a little bit.
Exactly.
Too. Just like
Everything
that young,
about him.
like, mean mug look.
It was really fun. It was my first time doing the yes chants and like live or whatever.
That's
like,
cool. That's very cool.
And like interacting with like, his kicks and like yes and like just
Yeah.
being like he's a very interactive wrestler to watch. So that's my match of the week. Do you have your match of the week?
Yeah, I think my match of the week is going to be the Bloodline triple threat match against Riddle and the Street Profits.
Okay.
Just because Usos, Street Profits, anything they
Come
touch
on.
turns to
Come
gold.
on.
You can't go wrong
I'm
with any
excited
of
for that
those
match.
guys. I'm very excited.
Now that Riddle and Rollins is out, like that's gonna be the match of the night.
Yeah,
Easy,
yeah. So
you know?
I thought Rollins and Riddle was going to be match of the night, but that's off the table. Unless it's Rollins Gargano,
Well,
that can be
that's
match
true.
of the night.
That's
That
true.
could be. We don't know. So that's going to be match of the night because too, like the thing. Here's the thing: like Roman Reigns, he's not on TV every single week. He's on every single episode. But I'm like, even though I do wish I could do a little bit more, make it a little bit more meaningful. His appearances, like not what's the word I'm thinking of? His appearance, not showing up every week makes his appearances mean something.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's like when he's off,
seeing him
week,
wrestle is a little more special and a little more. Like,
it's
I get what
more
you're saying.
just like, oh, Roman Reigns is here. It's like it means something.
So at least he's part time, but he's still there a decent.
Right, and it's like the Usos are there, so the bloodline is always going.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman's there, so even if Roman isn't there, he's giving a promo, whatever. And same, bro. Anything Roman Reigns touches, I think turns to gold. Like so just going off this a little bit, when he came down at the beginning of the show and he's walking down, I'm like watching this and I'm thinking to myself, like, and this might sound like a little like nerdy or whatever, but like I'm watching the guy that's basically like the wrestler of art, like besides John Cena, like this is the guy right now. Like this is like the generational talent right here. And like I'm thinking
in terms of like both companies, he's the biggest star.
Dude,
right now.
he is the biggest star in
he's
both companies.
huge.
I do genuinely believe that. But it's like I'm watching and I'm like, who knows? Like he might go to Hollywood in a few years and stuff. And it's like, he's not around all the time. So it's like I'm like, damn, I gotta appreciate like seeing him right now because like that's like
it's a really good mindset
It means
to have.
it's so important seeing him, and it's like his character. Like that's the arguably the best character that they've had in wrestling in a long time. So it's like just appreciating that and just realizing like he might not be around for a while, but this right now, this is our like John Cena.
As much as we, on
our
the
Rock,
show,
our Cena.
as much as we do side AEW a lot on this show, like I think we're in agreement. Like Roman Reigns is the best character and probably, and maybe not the best wrestler, but he's the top character and the top.
The face, I think
Wrestler,
the face
even,
of wrestling.
whatever.
I think.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You asked me like right now, like you think of professional wrestling, sports entertainment. Who's the first person that comes to mind? Roman Reigns.
He's a bigger draw than like a CM Punk right now.
I
Like,
think so.
Absolutely,
too. I think so. And they've done great. And all credit to WWE. They've done an amazing job building him up to this point. I wish they did a little bit more. I wish he didn't have both belts or at least defended them more. But that's. What can you do about it? So match of the week, Bloodline, Street Profits, Riddle, Bloodline won that match.
Well, my wrestler of the week before we get out of here is, again, basing it off of the live show, Send Hook.
Send
my
Hook.
God.
Yeah, that's
so
a good one.
good. Mainly just because, like, the energy and the pop he got when he won. He looks great. He had the orange trunks or whatever that matched the belt. Kid looks great. I think he's gonna have a fun run. Hopefully, this means more matches for him. More real matches.
More TV time. I feel like he wasn't shown on Dynamite as much. Like he was on Rampage and stuff, but not like the main show.
Yeah, that Ricky Starks match was one of his first. Like, ooh, like this is a good match. And props to Ricky Starks too,
putting him over and stuff like that.
I'm going Hook. I'm excited to see. It could have also very well has been Ricky Starks, my wrestler of the week. It's kind of one and the same because like. It's a takes two to tango type of thing. So, but on record, Hook.
So, wrestler of the week is someone that physically wrestled this week. I'm going to go. Actually, no, he physically wrestled this week as well. So, I'm between two. I was going to say Hook as well, just because big moment, winning the belt, first belt, AEW Dynamite, huge. The other guy, I mentioned him already. Roman Reigns.
Fair.
Not just because of the match, but just like the things they did with Theory, like the promo work, like he comes down. I love how he comes down and goes, he just announces like the place there, like Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Acknowledge me. It's like he gets him going and goes, I don't feel like talking anymore because it's the Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman does the whole thing. Just like his
What's he call him? He calls
Wise Man.
Wise Man.
It's so Wise Man. It's just the way he treats him and talks to him. So funny.
Like Wise Man, what do you think?
He's like, yes, my tribal chief. Yes, my tribal chief. I love you. I love you, my tribal. It's just they're
it's like something out of like a cartoon.
They're great together. But that and then Theory comes out and Roman's like,
you can tell they're having fun with it too. You can tell they're having a ball.
So that's what I'm. So he's just like, why are you nervous? Like you nervous? Like step the ring. He goes, you don't know what you're doing with that thing, the briefcase. And he's just like stunning him. He's like, your daddy's not here anymore. He goes, you keep acting like this, I'm gonna be your daddy and stuff like that. It's like that's so great. And he's like, he goes, you need a wise man. I'll be your wise man for the night. He goes, and he's like, stay out of my way and stuff. And then he hits the Usos later on. Theory comes out and Roman Reigns gets him from behind, and he's just like telling him like, you better like watch yourself and stuff. And then his match, obviously, it's just like I said, anything Roman touches. I love Roman.
Yeah,
and I've always been a big fan of his.
See, I haven't.
I've always loved because he's always been a good wrestler. It's just fans rejected him because WWE's one forcing them down your throat, and two, he should have always been a heel. Coming out of the Shield, the big heavy big guy, like that's supposed to be the bad guy, and like from day one, like they tried making him be the face of the company, the face like actual good guy. It never worked. And since WWE just kept stretching that and hoping it would work, it was never going to work.
And I can see it work now that he has all this heel legwork.
Exactly.
And then he could slowly transition.
Because that's kind of like what happened to The Rock, because he was floating around. No one really knew. And then he finally found his shtick of being that charismatic dickhead heel that had his catchphrases, one-liners. And then he goes off and he can be a babyface because people can cheer. He can say witty things to bad guys and stuff. Roman, I don't
earn it. You need to earn it.
You got to earn it. I don't think Roman will ever be full babyface. I think it'll be like kind of like in that fine line of like people will boo him, people will cheer. Because even he's getting cheered now.
It's the John Cena effect.
It's a John Cena. He's right where John Cena was in like mid 2010s and stuff like that. But yeah, a huge fan of Roman. I love what he's doing. Anytime he's on TV, it's you got to watch it. So I'm going Roman.
I thought you were going to say Roman.
No, I'm done.
I was waiting for you to say Reigns.
Oh, no. Roman Reigns.
Beautiful. That's the show. I think that's the show.
That's a good show.
I like that one.
Very good show. They didn't even go off of script. Kind of. Not really.
We didn't
no
need
script.
to. Nothing else really happened on Raw and
No.
AEW Live was great. But ultimately, what really happened on AEW?
100%,
You know what I mean? And SmackDown too.
Yep.
But thank you guys for watching or listening. Please leave a rating and a review and a comment or whatever on whatever podcast app or YouTube, wherever you're listening or watching this, please. Especially if you're on like Spotify, Apple Music, the ratings and reviews really help the show out in the rankings. We appreciate you guys as always. Please follow myself at Raspy Taylor on all platforms. If you follow me, you can probably see I'll probably be posting about my AEW show and Twitter
Make a
was
TikTok.
going crazy.
You gonna make a TikTok?
Oh yeah, I got a TikTok already made. It's in the draft.
Let's go.
New song out, Feels Like a Sunday by Raspy Taylor. Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you can get that. Dante, where can they find you?
Just search Dante Toro. I have different @s all over the place. Dante on deck, Dante Toro 11, Dante Toro. Look me up.
If you Google Dante Toro, you're getting it.
If you Google Dante Toro, I will pop up. That or a high school quarterback from Mexico. That is not me. So the Italian American is
if
me.
you Google Dante Toro Italy,
Yes,
and then you'll come up.
you'll get everything you need. You'll get everything you need.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again. We'll see you in the next one. They didn't think we'd make it this far. Dante, cool shirt.
Thank you. You know, I actually just got the other day. It's MBW. I don't know if you've ever heard of them before.
No.
This really cool wrestling channel podcast. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff.
Well, I hope there's some news to come out. about it.
This is like one of a kind right now, kind of exclusive.
Sure.
Can't really find it anywhere. Maybe it gets put on sale soon.
Can't really say anything much now,
I don't know much about it,
Yeah.
but maybe one day. Maybe I don't know.
Peace.
Peace.